All right, guys, I got a bunch of breaking news I wanted to talk to you about. These days, the second I get off the air, there's like 7 or 8 stories immediately that I can cover. There's just like no break whatsoever. It's one thing after another after another. So let's start with this. Chuck Schumer came out and announced who's going to give the Democratic response to Trump's State of the Union. Apparently, the State of the Union speech is upcoming this week. I believe it's on Tuesday. And of course, as per tradition, there's a Democrat who responds. Chuck Schumer picked Senator Alyssa Slotkin, the Democrat from Michigan, to do the Democratic response. And let me tell you a little bit about Senator Slotkin. She voted for 8 of Trump's cabinet members, which makes her one of the Democrats that voted for like the most Trump cabinet members. She voted for the Laken Riley Act, which of course kills due process for immigrants. She was a George W. Bush national security advisor. She was the first Democrat ever endorsed by Liz Cheney. She's pro-Israeli genocide, pro-TikTok ban, anti-student debt relief, anti-Medicare for all. So Chuck Schumer picked like one of the biggest MAGA sellouts and collaborators that we have in the Democratic Party to be the next rising star. Now, thankfully, she's not going to be the next rising star. She's going to crash and burn. She will not resonate with the base at all. But this shows you how out of touch Chuck Schumer is, Hakeem Jeffries is, how out of touch the Democratic leadership is. This is like the last person you should ever pick for this position. But they can't see straight. They're still playing by the rules of like 1992. They think the more moderate, the more centrist you are, the more you sell out to Republican policies, the better off you are, the more appealing you are to the electorate. Nothing has been further from the truth. And in fact, we have further evidence of that just came out today. So a YouGov poll came out, and 68% of Democratic voters say Democrats need to be more confrontational with Trump and Republicans. 68% say fight Republican policies. Only 19% of Democrats say, I want you to be civil, I want bipartisanship, I want compromise, I want negotiation. Guys, the era is done of bipartisanship and compromise. When one party has completely and utterly lost its mind, there is no negotiating with that. You can't negotiate with fascism. You can't negotiate with imperialism. You can't negotiate with extremism. You can't do it. You have to resist it. So, let me give you some updates on Doge, because there's a whole bunch of horrible stuff to talk about there. So listen to this. Elon Musk and Doge canceled about 1,000 VA contracts worth about $2 billion. And it looks like they didn't bother to check the specifics or didn't care about the specifics, because in this instance, that money was going to go towards small businesses run by disabled veterans. Can you believe that? Like, how disgusting is that? That of all the stuff to cut, which, by the way, it's totally illegal for them to be cutting any of this stuff because they're in no position to do it, but they're doing it anyway. 1,000 contracts worth $2 billion. It went to small businesses run by disabled veterans. Could you imagine for a second if it was a Democratic president who cut these contracts? What do you think the reaction would be? How furious, how angry would Republicans be? They would say, the Democrats are disgusting, they're unpatriotic, they hate our troops, they hate the veterans, this is the last thing you should ever cut, these are the people that deserve our help the most, they gave the ultimate sacrifice to this country and got hurt in battle. But instead, Elon cuts it and Doge cuts it, the Republicans cut it, and nobody's even talking about it. Nobody even knows about this, and this is part of their strategy, guys. They hit you with 100 bad policies every day, and then they're relying on the fact that the media can't keep up, that they can't follow all this stuff, that they can't harp away on all the things they do. But guess what? It's a new day. Now it's not only CNN, it's not only MSNBC, it's not those dying networks like or the Washington Post, more on them later, or the LA Times. No, now you have online media, true left-wing media, that actually does take the time and go through the specifics and say, look at what you did. Look at what you did. Guys, this would have been any time previously, this would have been a gigantic scandal. And again, if a Democrat did it, hair on fire, end of the world stuff. But Elon and Doge does it, and you don't hear almost anything about it. What a disgusting, disgusting thing they're doing here. Now, I got more for you. We're hearing from Jeff Stein at the Washington Post that the most significant layoffs are about to happen now under Doge. So agencies must submit a plan to reduce staff size by March 13th, significantly reduce staff size by March 13th. Again, I want to reiterate, all of these orders from Doge and Elon Musk, completely illegal. Completely illegal. But nonetheless, they proceed. So the Social Security Administration, they say, is going to be cut in half. Cut in half. Guys, that's insane. We're really going to get to a point where people are not getting their Social Security checks, right? I mean, Elon already broke the FAA. More on that in a little bit. But now he's looking to break Social Security. Guys, this is 5-alarm fire, man. This is as bad as it gets. Also, they say the Labor Department is going to be reduced up to 90% at the GSA. Terminations are imminent. They're also mass canceling leases of federal buildings, including buildings for the IRS. So at the same time, they're saying, you got to get back to work. You got to get back to the office. No more work from home. They're canceling the leases for the buildings that people are supposed to be working in. I'm telling you, man, this is like they are systematically terrorizing federal workers. That's what they're doing. Okay, let me give you some more. So I just mentioned the FAA. The FAA is canceling, this is really Doge canceling it, $2.4 billion. It's a contract for Verizon air traffic control. And Elon is canceling that, and he's giving it to Starlink. So in other words, the world's richest man illegally hacks into our government, cuts all these different things, cancels an FAA contract so he can give himself the contract. By the way, he was on Twitter today saying, oh, we don't have enough high-skilled air traffic controllers. Yeah, because you guys did 2 rounds of layoffs of the air traffic controllers. You just did it, and we've had 9 plane crashes since Trump took office, and you guys started doing it. So you dismantle the agency, and now you come out and say, holy shit, man, this is fucked up. Yeah, you fucked it up. We weren't having problems before. But again, the self-dealing, this is immensely corrupt. This is disgusting. This is, you're actually, he's probably doing something legitimately illegal here, right? Like, I think this actually crosses the line. All right, more. So I'm sure you guys all saw, this was so gross. Oh, it was so gross. You had Elon Musk at the cabinet meeting with Trump and all of his cabinet officials, and Elon was standing at the front of the room like he was in charge, he was in control. Trump was sitting there all meekish and nebbishly putting his head down, like genuflecting to the boss, Elon Musk. And so Elon's doing his whole spiel up there. And one of the things he said is, oh yeah, if we make mistakes, we'll make sure to fix them real fast. And like, here's one example of that. We cut, for USAID, we cut the Ebola prevention stuff, but then we realized and we fixed it. Now, could you imagine if George Soros was standing in a Biden cabinet meeting and George Soros was clearly the real president, clearly in control, and he was talking about, tee-hee-hee, I casually cut off the Ebola prevention money, tee-hee-hee, but it's okay, I fixed it. In that scenario, again, people would be calling for Biden to be beheaded in that scenario, right? Republicans would lose it. Oh my God. But here we have the world's richest man, Elon Musk, doing it under a Trump administration. Well, guess what? People looked into this and fact-checked it. No, they cut off the Ebola prevention money, and they never turned it back on. It's still cut. So he just lied. Because this is what he does. He's a liar. He's a disgusting liar. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So we discussed the Republican budget the other day. $880 billion in Medicaid cuts. That's healthcare for poor people and disabled people. $230 billion in SNAP cuts. SNAP is the food stamps program. So literally taking food out of the mouths of low-income people, taking healthcare away from low-income people and disabled people. Just a disgusting document. And by the way, they're planning at the same time to do massive tax cuts for the top 1%. Same time they cut low-income healthcare and food stamps, cut taxes for the top 1%. This is class war. Well, guess what? We now know what some of the impacts of this are going to be, right? So if this passes the Senate, if this bill passes the Senate, 25 hospitals are at risk of closing in Alabama alone. 15 of those hospitals will close immediately. 88% of rural Alabama hospitals rely on federal funding. So you're basically looking at like a doomsday event for virtually every hospital just in the state of Alabama, never mind all the other states where other hospitals will have to close. as I said, this is direct class war. The robber barons are attacking the 99%. That's what's happening. And if it passes the Senate, buckle up, man. Buckle up. So let's talk a little bit about, I'm sure you guys saw this, but Jeff Bezos released a statement and he sent an email to the people at the Washington Post. And basically what he said to them is, look, we're done with the opinion page allowing opinions that disagree with mine. So what we're going to do is mandate that the opinion section reflects my views. And I say the opinion section needs to be pro-personal liberties and pro-free markets, right? And really what he's saying is they need to toe the line I want them to toe. They need to spew the narrative I'm in favor of, right? And he made clear, like, the wording of the email is very clear. It's like a rah-rah capitalism type thing, right? And so there were a few people from the opinion section that just said, you know what, I'm out. Because remember, they quashed a Kamala Harris endorsement from the opinion section people before the election, right? The LA Times has been blocking criticisms of Trump on their opinion page. And so this, like, really crosses a line. I remember when Bernie Sanders accused the Washington Post, like, hey, I think Bezos is, like, kind of controlling the narratives that come out of there. And a bunch of people are, how dare you, Bernie? What a conspiracy theory. Well, now it's never been more clear. Everybody sees what's going on here, right? So Bezos comes out and says that. By the way, Jeff Stein, a straight reporter for Washington Post, comes out and says, this is unacceptable. He's putting his finger on the scale on the opinion side. To be fair, he hasn't done it on the news side yet. But if he does, I'll say it immediately and I'll resign. That's what Jeff Stein says. Well, guess what? I think in due time, he's absolutely going to put his finger on the scale for the news side as well. He's trying to suck up to Trump. He's trying to stay in good standing with them. That's definitely what's going on here. That's what Bezos is doing. He's basically going to be propaganda for the administration. He wants his tax cuts. He wants his subsidies. He wants his government contracts. He's not going to rock the boat, right? He's going to be a propagandist for the administration. Well, guess what? Here's an example of a robber baron billionaire oligarch literally controlling the media for his ends, right? Elon Musk chimes in, says, bravo, Jeff Bezos. What happened? I thought 5 minutes ago you guys were, oh, free speech. We believe in free speech, free speech. Now a billionaire is censoring his own workers and saying, no, you're not allowed to give your opinion. You give my opinion. And Elon Musk loves it. As somebody pointed out on Twitter, Evan pointed this out on Twitter, this man, it's insane because he's actually the most anti-free speech guy of all time, Elon Musk is. God, they're such charlatans. Another incredible update for you here. Trump came out and said the U.S. should take back the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. Okay, you know what that means in layman's terms? Trump is saying, let's re-invade Afghanistan. I keep going back to it in my mind. Remember when Trump was attacking Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris and calling them warmongers? Saying they never read a war they didn't like. Liz Cheney only wants to shoot people. Well, since then, Trump in the White House has done what? He said, I want Canada to be our 51st state, regardless of what they want. I want to steal Greenland. I'm going to warmonger with Denmark. I'm going to steal Panama. I'm going to take Gaza and own Gaza, right? I'm going to try to coup Venezuela. I want war with Mexico, as he's made crystal clear. War with Iran. Like, I mean, we're getting near double digits now. He bragged about bombing Somalia. So we're getting near double digits now of countries he's warmongering with. And everybody acts like, like this is just another day. No, this is insane. This is 1800 style imperialism. This is colonialism. He's out neoconning the neocons. He said he wants to re-invade Afghanistan. And it was people barely talked about it. Like, wakey, what's going on here? Oh my God. All right. Also, Andrew Tate, Jesus Christ. So Andrew Tate, he's up on a whole bunch of charges in Romania, human trafficking, rape, all these terrible charges that he's up on. Well, we learned the other week that the Trump administration was pressuring the Romanian government and saying, you need to allow him to leave the country. What are you doing? Let him go where he wants. And so guess what? Romania just allowed Andrew Tate to leave. And Andrew Tate just landed in Florida today. Again, the right-wingers who are all obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein, right? Like, this guy is Jeffrey Epstein Jr. He's on video admitting to human trafficking. There's a video of him floating around today where he's allegedly beating up a woman, right? Like, he's the most abusive asshole you could possibly imagine, involved in the worst kinds of organized crime, and he's a hero on the right. Why? Because he makes videos telling women to shut the fuck up and get in the kitchen, and Barron Trump likes him, so Trump likes him too. He also is a supporter of Trump and has been cheerleading MAGA from the sidelines, and so Trump allows him into the country. What are we doing here? At the same time, they're like, we got to deport all the criminal illegals, right? You're allowing somebody in the country, not an American citizen, right? At least I don't think he is. And you're allowing him in the country when this guy is on charges for human trafficking and rape and all sorts of crimes. Now, as long as you're in that MAGA club, you can commit whatever crimes you want to commit, man. That's how they really view it. I mean, could you imagine? Like, we are truly being led by people who have online brain worms to a terminal degree that I've never seen before. Having anything positive to say about this Andrew Tate character is insane at this late date. Nobody's self-reported more than him about all of his crimes, and nobody on the right cares. And Trump doesn't care. He's happy to allow him in here because this guy loves Trump. All right. So we've been talking about the town halls, right? And how Republicans are getting reamed at these town halls by super angry voters. By the way, many of them also conservative. I'm sure there's some Democrats there, but you also have plenty of conservatives there that don't like what's going on with Elon Musk and all the madness, right? Well, you know what the Republican leaders' reaction to that is? They came out and said, how about you just stop having town halls? Like, okay, people are mad at you. People don't like you. People hate the direction we're sending the country. Just don't ever get in front of a crowd ever again. How about that? Like, these people are such cowards, bro. This is all going to catch up to them. This is all going to catch up to them. By the time those midterms come around, at the pace we're going right now, Democrats are going to put up FDR numbers. You might not even need a pulse to win as a Democrat come the midterms at the rate we're going here. By the way, another thing Mike Johnson said, he was on CNN. He comes out and says that the people at the town halls that were mad at the Republican politicians, they were all Democrats, and they were, quote, paid protesters. The amount of cope is off the charts. And then you also have on Fox Business, Republican Representative Fallon, he said the following. This is about the food stamp issue. Quote, we have a message for those kind of folks. If you're able-bodied and you want to milk the taxpayer, those days are over. Get off the couch. Stop eating the Cheetos. Stop buying the medical marijuana and watching television. You're actually going to contribute now. Guys, this is how they think of like the bottom 99% of Americans. This is what they think of you. They think you're all lazy, right? That if you're on food stamps or if you're on Medicaid, you're just lazy. You're just a bum. You're just not trying. And you're just living this luxurious life, floating by on the taxpayer's dime. Nothing could be further from the truth. The overwhelming majority of people on Medicaid and food stamps are hardworking, regular people trying their best, but the economic system is so fucked up. They work one or two jobs, and they still don't make enough money to survive, right? But this is how they think of you. Now, by the way, at the same time, he's attacking the 99% for being parasites, for being moochers, right? Tell me who the real parasites are. The world's richest man got $38 billion in corporate welfare. He's the biggest welfare queen in the world. So many of these billionaires get massive tax cuts, massive subsidies, massive corporate welfare checks. And by the way, this guy who made this critique, come to find out, he took, I think it was $500,000 either in a PPP loan or some other government money. So, bro, look in the mirror. You're the one who's lazy. You're the one who's a parasite. You're the one who's a moocher. You didn't even need that $500,000. But guess what? Sometimes to feed your kid, you do need the food stamps. Sometimes to make sure you can just have basic medical care, you do need Medicaid. Again, they hate you. They hate the bottom 99%. Again, this is class war. And they're pretty open about it at this point. All right, guys. So that's the updates I have for you. There's just so much going on. Again, tomorrow, we have Maxwell Frost on Crystal Kyle and Friends. He's one of the Democrats who's actually fighting. Don't miss that conversation. It's going to be great. Sign up for Substack. You don't want to miss it. So it should be fun. I'll see you guys there. Peace.